Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this is almost like life coach type material. I get asked these questions a lot, and not about comics, just about other things. And I have this sneaking suspicion nobody wants to say it. I'm sure the people in the comments go, "Come on, Mumbles, it's your moment." But it's like, "Hey, you're old, and you're old, so therefore you must have some advice for me about getting a job and other things because you're old." And I'm not that old. Like, like I don't know. I've got a ways to go. I'm pretty confident. I don't think I've hit that halfway point yet. The drinking may say otherwise, but no. In all seriousness, I don't think it's that old. But the question kind of surrounds in the how do I know if I've been successful? How do I know if I'm actually achieving my goals in comics, in business, in tech, in whatever it is? How do I know that how do I know if I am achieving my goals? Should I call it a day? Should I quit? And I've seen this weird friend of mine pointed out, one comic writer who tends to do a lot of drama posts. And what I mean by that is like, nobody likes me. Everyone likes me. No, nobody likes me. A creator who's relatively famous, liked my post, and I can't stop smiling all day. Oh my God, I'm depressed. And it's like, it's this constant feed of this kind of stuff. And I don't want to give the guy any more attention. And it goes without saying, I think I finally hit that follower count where I have to start putting in the disclaimer of please don't stalk anybody. If I'm saying something about someone and you particularly don't like them, don't go act like a crazy person. Don't harass them. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. Please don't. Why would you do that? You'd be a complete asshole if you did that. Don't be an asshole. But the this has been a common thread lately. So again, a friend of mine pointed this out. This one person's thread, this tweet about maybe I just should call it a day. Maybe enough. I'm not going to make it. I'm not making headway. I should call it a day. And I'm like, oh man, I'm reading this, going, why would you post this? Like you took time to write it down. You stared at it and you hit post. Like, why would you post that? There's really only one reason. And that's to get attention, to get sympathy, to get somebody to come in and go, no, man, what? No, you're great. No, you're great. Don't go anywhere. No, come on. No, you're the best. No, don't let those negative thoughts get in your mind. And then you could post back with saying, sometimes the dark clouds enter my day, but it's stuff like you saying that I'm worth something. It gives me that necessary energy to publish that next whatever. The part though, as I looked at it, is over the last about week and a half, there's a lot of people who are suddenly saying this in comics. There's this maybe I'm never going to make it. Maybe I should call a day. Maybe I should. And the puzzling part is I have to believe one of two things. Either the person's on the level, they actually believe this. This is how they feel. They're kind of at the end of their rope, and they're seriously contemplating leaving. In which case, my advice, because I mentioned at the start of this video, my advice I would give you is stop tweeting, stop asking random strangers or just throwing it out into the wind if you should succeed or keep going or not, and go into the bathroom, look yourself in the mirror, and figure out your goals. It's whenever I see these posts of I don't know if I'm ever going to achieve my goals, my immediate question is, what are your goals? Just like in mentorship opportunities, when people come and ask me advice, like, am I ever going to achieve my goals? I'm like, what are your goals? And what's interesting is, like, more than half the time, people don't have any. They're just like, well, do good, be successful, get rich. It's like, okay, you need more specific goals than that. And kind of turning it around, if you want to be successful in comics, I think there's a fairly low bar, as long as you're realistic with yourself, there's a fairly low bar to being successful. You can be successful relatively quickly. I say that because the vast majority of comics, meaning, the 500 plus comics that are published every month, 400 of those are selling under 5,000 copies. It's not that hard to get 1,000, 2,000 copies of your book sold. It's not that hard. It takes work. Work is different from hard. Hard work, if you put in the effort, you can get there. Not always, but you can do it. And so if you set your bar there, I want to get a book out. I want to sell, 1,000 copies. I want to get my name on the board and start producing material. Then the person stopping you is you. If you set your goals like this time next year, in 1 year's time, I'm going to be the head writer for Batman, and people will be saying I'm going to take Jim Lee's job, then that's a stupid goal. You're not going to achieve that goal. It's highly unlikely that you'll achieve that goal. If your goal is I'm going to be writing for the X Office and I'm going to put out an X book, I would say, how do you like tarot decks? No, I would say maybe that bar's too high. Getting in there seems like a pretty closed office. Are you friends with one of the current writers? You're not. Well, going to be kind of tough. But all these people kind of posting this, should I call it a day? Should I call it quits or not? What should I do? I don't believe that it's at option two. I went through option one. Maybe they mean that maybe they're serious, but option two is I think it's attention. I think it's simply a way to kind of force the validation. Because one thing I've noticed is several creators have stepped away from social media. You're definitely seeing things kind of quiet down a little bit. When I say quiet down, I mean the lunatics are still lunaticking, to use a phrase, but the general mass, the general population, you're just seeing a little bit less from the normies. The normies are quietly like doing a Baron Zemo in Falcon Winter Soldier. He's sneaking into the bathroom, getting into the sewer, and taking off. He's getting out of there. He's doing the Homer Simpson into the shrubbery. Just their people are just fading out. They're leaving Twitter to the loud, crazy people. That's seems to be more of what's populating that. There's even a post saying Facebook is retreating slowly to be more, people you knew in high school and, maybe close friends. And it's all kind of shrinking. And the reason it's shrinking is because for, a period of time, the lunatics were running the asylum, and people got excited about screaming and shouting and dunking on each other and taking people out of context and all the rest. And then people seem to, the normie group seem to come to the conclusion that being on there is more of a liability than any kind of benefit. And the likelihood that one of these lunatics is going to, like a rabid dog, just going to start attacking you for whatever reason, most likely they're bored, is too high. It's not worth it. So disappear. And so what you're seeing is these social media platforms still crazy, but it's crazier from a smaller pool. The crazy people are crazying, and the normies are just quietly just getting out of the room. And it's, this is similar to what happened to MySpace, honestly, toward the end. But these one consequence of this is that and this is my theory, you're seeing a lot less validation. You are seeing a significant drop in the OMG, you are the best. No, you're the best. I just happened to be walking down the street and thinking about how awesome best you are, best person. It's whether, and it's been mocked. I know on some recent shows they've kind of mocked this phony validation kind of thing that goes on. And I think that what's happening is that people are just doing less of it. And unfortunately, people got addicted to it. So when you're seeing these, should I just call it quits? It's fishing. They're fishing for somebody to say, oh my God, no, my life would be ruined if you left. No. Unfortunately, the engagement is dropping every time. First of all, every time you do that, fewer people are going to come in to blow smoke up your ass. They're going to, you're going to burn it out. And for some people, again, looking through this, it's like a weekly event. If you're going to be in comics, the reality is, the only making it in comics, being whatever you want to be, that's the only person who knows what that looks like, again, is you. You have to decide what making it means. You have to come to the conclusion of what is going to be, what you're going to consider a successful career. Only you. If you are not, if you have no idea what success looks like in comics, don't go into comics. Don't try. You should have a pretty clear vision of what making it feels like. If you don't, you are going to fail. You will not be successful. You can't just wander in and then just kind of assume somebody will tell you what success looks like. You can't wander in and just assume that. And I think, unfortunately, I think that's what a lot of people do. They get into comics, and it's like, well, I'll I'll know I'll be successful when the Beat writes an article about how I'm a big success. And then if that could be followed up a couple weeks later by old Rich Johnson over at Bleeding Cool, also writing an article about how I'm awesome, then certainly I'm honest. But that what a hollow, unfulfilling life. And again, I guess the confidence I would tell you is if you're sitting here and you're thinking, I'd like to do comics, um, it's again, the barrier is easy. It's easier than it's ever been. Make the comic. The hardest part is going to be you making the comic. You really can't cheat on that part. You're going to have to actually produce something. And if you can produce something and you can put material out, you get pages drawn or story written or whatever it happens to be. If you can do that, then you'll be fine. You may not sell 100,000 copies ever in your life. Maybe not. I mean, for that matter, the big two publishers may stop selling that too. Go figure. That's not the definition of success, or rather, that doesn't need to be the definition of success. Get a comic out there, get some people reading it, make another one, continue. And if that sounds boring, if that sounds like not enough, if you're sitting here going, well, where's all the dopamine in that? Consider something else. You know, are you photogenic? Maybe Instagram is for you. Do you have a way of conning, people in hotels for giving you, free stays? You could be an influencer. Maybe try that one. There's a lot of different routes for your career. If producing comics month in or year in, year out, if that sounds like a lot of work, maybe angry YouTube commentator. Yeah, it's a great job. That's what you can do. But consider that, yeah, maybe comics aren't for you, and as a job, maybe if you feel the need to compulsively question if you're ever going to make it, maybe the question you should be asking yourselves is why am I trying to make it? Food for thought. Anyway, hey, what do you think? Do you want to make it in comics? Are you making it in comics? All that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.